Hello and welcome to Differential Discussions. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Dave.
And today we're going to look at a peripheral blood smear of somebody from infectious mononucleosis.
So our video on differentiating monos and reactive lymphs might be a bit useful here. We're going to use a lot of those terminologies. So if you haven't checked that out, watch it before this one.
I'll link to it.
Thank you. So we have a stretchy boy here, huh? He's
nice and stretchy.
So that's a big clue. And starting a differential, always 10x. I'll stress that to everybody, always 10x, right? But once you come down and we're on oil, this guy is pretty suspicious for a reactive lymph. Yep. And I think it would be an easy call for me to say reactive lymph right out.
Yeah. So he doesn't really have a lot of the radiating blue, but right. He's very grabby.
Yeah, he is. Yep.
Very grabby. He
and
has
that
a really stretched nucleus.
And that one on the lower portion there, you have that dark blue and the yeah. And ideally we'd like that to as Melissa said, radiate into the cytoplasm a bit more. But yeah. I got nothing. This is where I talked about evidence pushing and pulling you. Yep. I don't have anything really telling me that this might be a mono. What do you think? I mean, so then it ends up becoming a call. Is this just a regular lymph or a reactive lymph? And it's very reactive in my mind. I'm going to be sensitive to
He's
that.
Very stretchy, very unhappy.
I wouldn't necessarily think this person has mono at this point.
No, not just seeing one.
But I think we'll get there. Wink, wink.
Wink, nudge, nudge. And then my usual, I just want to point out that there's a platelet on top of this red cell over here.
There is, absolutely. And looking at platelets and red cells not a bad thing too when you're looking at weird weird white cell stuff. So now we're moving into white cells, but we're still very cognizant of what the red cells and platelets are doing, and they all look fairly normal.
Yeah, absolutely. Because infectious mono doesn't impact platelets or red cells. Really, infectious mono is the EBV will just infect memory B cells. That's really what the infectious mono is. All right, move around, look a little bit more.
Cool.
Oh, you're interesting.
I'm going to take a break. So one thing before I start on the problem cell here, the pain in the butt, smudge cell on the right.
Yes.
And smudge is really common in a reactive lymph kind of picture. So that comes to mind and is starting to track what we see here. So let's look at this particular cell. We kind of prioritized the items. I think we talked about looking at the cytoplasm first. Okay, but I'm going to cheat and I'm going to talk about the nucleus. So the nucleus is making this horseshoe shape, right? Yep. And I've read a hematology textbook or two. Mono, right? So you get the horseshoe and you want to go ahead and say mono. The things about the nucleus telling me it's not a mono is the chromatin pattern itself is clumped, and that stretchiness now that Melissa kind of talked about in the previous video. I know the shape, but the stretchiness are kind of inconsistent, right? Yes. I will yield the shape is mono E.
Yeah.
What about the cytoplasm? What's the cytoplasm look like?
Cytoplasm definitely looks reactive. See, it's got this dark blue at the edge that radiates toward a lighter blue, and there's no granules.
Right. Yep.
So it's definitely, the cytoplasm is definitely reactive.
Yeah. So so cytoplasm telling us it's a reactive lymph. Nucleus shape telling us that it's a mono, right?
Yep. The chromatin.
Yep, but the chromatin is telling us different. So this one we'd say.
So we've got two saying reactive, one saying mono, and then the last thing is how it interacts with the red cells too.
Yes. It's very rare for a monocyte to want to squeeze in between red cells like that, right? Like that.
Yeah. So it's definitely reactive-y.
Yeah.
So he's a reactive
lymph.
All right, and then I'm just gonna move over.
So another one. Oh wait, is that the same one? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So this one is the same one that we just
Okay.
looked at.
Okay.
This is the one that I was moving.
Oh shoot. Okay, so this one has the extending the pseudopod of the cytoplasm. Little unusual for a mono to do that.
And this weird guy up here.
Yeah, that's really, really unusual. Very consistent with the reactive lymph.
Yep.
Looking more at the cytoplasm, the color, the deep blue, the radiating. I mean, all signs kind of pointing towards a reactive lymph here.
Yeah, and the nucleus just looks stretched.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a nice nuclei right here that you can see.
There is. And I would say at this point, I'm starting to maybe thinking about mono a little bit.
Maybe.
It's at least, it's in the back of my mind.
Yeah, but the cytoplasm is just screaming, I'm reactive.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see the mono reactive lymph, but
we're probably only going to find reactives.
I know, right? Yeah. We'll see if we're lucky. Molly doesn't like this lymph.
Molly is voicing her displeasure.
I like to say that this one, it's kind of showing me that it's reactive, and some people may want to make that call. It's still pretty small. It's somewhere in between. I'm not going to argue one way or the other what you should call this, but
I would probably just go with a normal lymph because
it's a lymph, yeah.
Stretchy enough, yeah. It's not mad enough, yeah. It looks irritated, but it doesn't look angry.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, now let's move this way. It's starting to get thin up there, so I'm gonna move this way.
Sure.
Oh, what are you?
Oh. Oh wow, yeah.
Interesting.
Where do we start?
Let's start with this one.
Okay. So we'll start with the most annoying one. So again, if we're in the mindset where we're thinking a lot about the nucleus shape has got kind of a mono-y shape.
Yes.
I mean, heck, the chromatin pattern, this is a tough one.
This one is really tough.
Not gonna lie. So I think that the cytoplasm and the colors in the cytoplasm, and then given the rest of the picture that we've seen so far, is telling me reactive lymph.
Yeah.
But the nucleus, in fact, is telling me a different story. So we have a little bit of this is a nice push and pull.
This is a nice one, yeah.
I think
chromatin, it doesn't look angry enough in the chromatin. However, there are really prominent nucleoli. And that many prominent, sorry, she's stinging again. She does not like reactive lymphs. But because there's so many of these nucleoli in here, that leads me more towards a reactive.
Yeah, I think, and for me, if I had to bet my life on it, all my life savings, and I don't have a choice, I would have to say reactive lymph. Although I'd concede that the chromatin pattern, it's kind of like, oof. But the nucleoli, just not, you wouldn't see that many in a mono. That's just would be inconsistent.
Yeah.
Definitely a tough call.
Yeah.
And if you are doing this diff for school or in practice, and you call one cell and you're off by one cell, it's not a big deal. If there's one tricky cell and it goes the wrong way for you, it's not going to make or break.
Don't skip it though.
Don't skip it. No, we will say skip a site, skip a cell. We're joking mostly. We are not doing in the practice of skipping anything. We should not put our finger on the scale when it comes to doing objective data gathering like this. Yep. But yeah. All
right, now the other one.
And this one's kind of easier for me in some ways, because the cytoplasm is it's doing weird stretchy things. And if it's doing weird stretchy things, I'm less likely to have the internal monologue about whether it's a mono or not. Do you feel that this one's a reactive lymph as well, or what do you think?
I don't know. There's no granules. Are there granules? I'm gonna play with the fine tune. I don't think so.
I think what this one's missing that I would like it to have
is the blue.
The blue, right? We don't have that deep dark blue.
So then begs the question of, would you call this reactive, or would you just call this a regular lymph because it's not angry?
That's a great question. And this is where I probably, as an individual, I break rules maybe that I shouldn't. So for me, the fact that I'm seeing it amongst obviously reactive lymphs gives me an itchy trigger finger. But, rightfully so, maybe I shouldn't be calling it a reactive lymph. But I think I might.
Well, I think there are stages of Downey type reactives, and then it just depends on what's the cutoff.
True.
What is the cutoff for calling it a reactive at your institution? Because each institution may have it slightly different.
Yeah, that's the good point. Yeah.
Because I could go either way depending on the cutoff.
Yeah, true. So essentially your institution's going to calibrate you, and this could be one way or the other. I think we are uniformly saying, though, that this is a lymphocyte, right? Yeah. And that we're not in the realm of a
yeah, no, the discussion is it reactive or is it regular lymph?
Right.
Given its friends, it probably is reactive. But
yeah, so your mileage might vary here, but
yep, but definitely lymphy.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's see what else we can find.
Yeah, I think it's fine and fair to call this a regular lymph, but man, when I see those weird extensions, like.
But he's weird. So he's small around resting in the nucleus. And in the cytoplasm, the color is lymphy, but then you got those pseudopods.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, this one's definitely undecided as to whether or not. And this is another one of those points where it's getting annoyed.
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Yeah. He's not happy, but he's not angry yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's starting to get hangry. That's usually me. I'm usually.
You got a lymph call.
A regular resting dude.
Yep.
You got them? Oh, good. They're both in.
Okay. So, I don't know. You want to take the lead on these?
I think we're having the same thing. Like, are they resting lymphs, or are they reactive lymphs?
Yep. It is the same question.
The nuclei are slightly stretched.
Mm-hmm.
You can start. There's no real prominent white striations in there, but you can see like the deep. Like you can see this one's got deep dark purple there, and there, and that's just I think the clumpiness. But you're starting to be able to see some of the heterochromatin mixed in with some euchromatin here. So I think we're able just to see that in these limbs. So they are stretchy, and they do have the deep dark blue that is starting to radiate in. So they have some of the characteristics of a reactive, but again, I think they are a little bit more than slightly annoyed, but they're not yet mad.
Yeah, it's this intermediate kind of. Yeah. So call might vary slightly here.
Yep. For both.
Yeah, for both. Yeah, and for different reasons, and both. Kind of, it's funny.
Yeah. Oh, funky looking dudes. Oh no, cool. Wait, come back. There we go.
So a smudge, and then a couple limbs.
This is the smudge. And then I think these are both just limbs. They have a little bit spready cytoplasm, but nothing else says I'm reactive yet.
Right. Definitely not to the extent of some of the others that we've seen.
No, and some lymphs in general will have a little bit more cytoplasm.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, the category lymphocyte covers a pretty broad the functions of lymphocytes vary significantly between different categories. Oh, cool. Okay.
Let's try and get the other guy in there. Oh, wrong way. but that's okay.
Melissa has the hard job. The I get it easy over here.
There we go.
Cool. All right, so I'm not gonna lie, a little bit tricky here.
Yeah.
I think the thing that has me thinking like reactive lymph is the stretch, because it almost looks like it's like stuck to the outside of the cytoplasm there, and it's being kind of like
pulled. It looks like a banner.
Yes, and it's being pulled into that shape.
Yeah.
And then the cytoplasm on the right hand side, pretty deep, rich blue, and it's thicker. If a mono is going to have a dark blue on the cytoplasm, it usually is just right at the edge, and that's it. So I think this is a reactive.
I agree.
This is a tricky cell, though.
He is, because when you look at it, you'll be like, mono-y, reactive-y.
Yeah, I think you'd be crazy to not at least think about it a little bit.
Let's push over then.
Cool. There's our first neutrophil up in the top there.
Yep. Neutrophil here. Yeah. I think this guy's just pycnotic.
Yeah, it's It's good.
Those who don't know,
it's too round, right? Like that.
It's too round. It's too condensed. The purple's too dark. It just looks like it's breaking down. So for those of you who don't know, pycnotic means that it's dying off.
Yep.
And then the guy at the bottom.
Ugh. Gross.
He's actually not bad compared to some of the other ones we've seen.
I know, but some of these they kind of like, I don't know. They'll tick me off for kind of different reasons, I guess. But it still looks pretty lymphy, I think. And the colors, that radiating color in the cytoplasm.
Yep.
Consistent with the reactive lymph.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It looks reactive.
Yep.
Oh, I pushed him out of the screen.
Good, just a couple limbs, right?
Yeah, just a couple limbs, but I still didn't want to skip it. Another limb.
Another lymph. And I think at this point, we're not technically keeping count, but we're seeing a lot of lymphoid cells. So that's something that's kind of noteworthy to think about.
Probably majority of lymphs.
Yep.
With a good number of reactives.
Yep.
And reactives are usually counted separately from normal lymphocytes. And depending on your institution, they may be called reactive, atypical, different names.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so this guy is just a wonky looking squished lymph.
Yeah.
And then this beauty.
Yeah. He's reactive all the way, right? Yeah.
So reactive.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's a nice one. I took a picture. Let's see. I'm going to move with purpose now.
Sure.
Oh.
She's on a mission. Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Gold.
Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, right.
So what do you want to start? Do you want to start with the middle one or the one on the left?
Let's start with him.
On the left. Okay. So there actually is a little bit of controversy in this one too, right? Because it's not as like stretchy. There's not a ton of cytoplasm. I would say at the very least it's annoyed and it's starting to react.
Yep.
Definitely not happy about something.
Yep.
And then
ta-da!
So a mono showed up. Mono. So a lot of vacuoles kind of bailed us out a little bit, right? And so this one's being very cooperative. Another thing I love about the cell too is it is in fact impacting quite a bit of red cells around it, but you really don't have that dark, rich blue that you would expect in a reactive lymph. So this fellow is being cooperative with me.
Yeah.
If you watch the previous video, you'll see I got burnt by a monocyte that had kind of a darker, bluer cytoplasm at the edge, which can happen, although it's somewhat infrequent.
Yeah. And there's a nice indent too in the nucleus here.
Yep, nice indent. You don't feel like the nucleus is really being like pulled either, right? It just kind of is the shape it is.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Great monocyte.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Oh, good. This is a little bit of a mission to find like a really scary kind of downy lymph, but yeah.
All right, I'll try it. I'll try.
We'll do one more quick pass, because they are kind of nice. That's where I think I would have in my head that I'm be thinking about mono, but I wouldn't be super confident. So what Melissa's doing right now is looking for a cell that we would say, you know, I'm really looking for the big juicy.
All right, a big juicy one.
And every patient is going to have different, presentation. But there are certainly some downy reactive limbs that I might see in a clinical setting where I go, oof, they need to do mono testing on this person.
Some interesting ones.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting ones, but I fear it might evade us today. But
let me go a little bit deeper.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good cheat too.
Yeah, that's where the big juicy ones usually are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He's not huge and he's not super dark, but he's kind of bigger. This one is
definitely definitely reactive. Yeah.
Definitely. All right, let me just quickly scoot down. See. I just think the sheer number of reactives.
Yeah, that's true too.
Would warrant. This guy's not bad.
Yeah, that actually is pretty good. Yeah,
it's almost like Batman.
But that's a good point too. I'm looking for this one cell, but really we got a lot of data points, didn't we? And we saw a lot of like weird reactive limbs, like super reactive limbs.
Yeah, there's a lot of really reactive. So a good chunk of the diff percentage would be reactive limbs, and that alone would scream mono.
Yeah, true.
Infectious mono, not monocyte, infectious mono.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's all that we're going to do for this video today. So thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you'd like notifications whenever we post a new video. And feel free to reach out to us on social media or via email with comments or suggestions about future content. Thanks.